Hi, today I want to talk about bringing authenticity back to our world because it is so greatly missing. Hey everybody, this is Anthony Trucks of Trust Your Hustle. Make sure to follow me on YouTube, so subscribe here. You can also visit my website and get some free gifts there. But today I want to get into what the topic is really, which is being authentic. I've found that in my life, and if you're anything like me, you find people who put on a show, who aren't authentic, and on top of that, they're dishonest. And I don't want to say dishonest sometimes purposefully, but their lack to open up and share an honest opinion and close it hinders, honestly, our world's ability to grow. So today I'm going to talk really basically about some simple things that you can do to actually increase society's push forwards towards being more authentic and more honest, and how it can push everybody in the right direction. So what I have found specifically in my life experiences, there are times that I can look back on myself and I can realize that there are moments when I had people around me when they weren't being honest or real or authentic with me, and it hindered my growth. So the first step that I would like to tell you about, I think is paramount to moving forward, is to realize that you have to understand that your inability to be authentic and to be open and to be honest hinders the growth of those around you. You see, people, they don't really know, like you don't really know what it is that you need to improve upon, or things that you are doing incorrectly or poorly that you can make better, if nobody's honest and authentic and says, hey, it's not a very good painting, or hey, this song you sung wasn't that great. Now, the reason people don't do it is because it's sometimes taken as an attack. Sometimes people believe that they're being attacked and you're saying negative things about them, when reality is you're just being honest with your thoughts. Now, it is really hard to do, but it's a necessity because that's the only way we improve. Honestly, if someone didn't tell Ford that the car could be made better, like, hey, I like this but don't like this, we wouldn't have better cars. People must be honest and open about the things they need. The next thing that's beneficial when it comes to being authentic is it unloads the guilt from yourself. You see, for me, when I see something and I don't say something, I step back in myself and I feel horrible. I feel like for me, I could have easily said, hey, this could have been adjusted, or maybe we should have done this better, or hey, that wasn't a really nice thing you did. But what happens is I don't say something, then I go home and I think, man, I really could have helped that person if I just spoke up about it. And that's something I think a lot of people don't do. Like, think about times in your life when you could have said something, but you're like, I don't want to. And you just don't. And you go home and you see them make the mistake you could have warded off. It's this guilt that kind of sets inside and you're like, I wish I would have said something. So the benefit, step 2, is honestly it helps you unload the guilt. The third step is a really, really good one in my mind, I believe. And essentially it shows other people how to be authentic, how to be open, how to be honest, how to be real. And people sometimes need to have a model. Like, I think you really need a model. I need a model sometimes of what it looks like to do that thing that I see as scary or I see as hard. So when someone's authentic in your presence or open with you, you're now given a specific model of how to do it for yourself. So maybe it's a friend comes saying, hey, you probably shouldn't step out of the house looking like that. Well, now you're like, oh, that's how it should be approached. So when you get in that same position for that person, you can mirror what they did. And so it becomes this thing where you understand how, and also it allows you to feel comfortable doing so because someone has already blazed the trail. So if you see someone else doing it in your society or in your group or whatever it may be, you're able to then say, okay, well, they've done it. I feel comfortable doing it as well. I don't mind stepping outside of my comfort zone and doing what's necessary to be honest and be authentic. The last step, which comes to be honestly probably the most important one, is when. Anthony, when do I become authentic? When do I say these things? I think I'm a real person. Now, I'm not saying some people aren't real or honest or authentic, but what happens, I find, is people get to that very, very precise moment where they want to say something. It's on the tip of your tongue, like you want to get it out there, but you bottle up. And next thing you know, the moment passed and I didn't say anything. So what I tell people is the moment that you feel uncomfortable, say something. Because that's when it's supposed to take place. Because what happens, you're battling this, my conscience says I should, but my brain's saying, hey, don't look stupid, don't make them mad at you, make sure you don't feel uncomfortable. But that's the moment you do it. What you'll find is if you do it in that moment, when you have the urge that just floats out of your mouth, you'll be able to feel comfortable in the next moment because it'll come out and you'll say, hey, look, I didn't die when I did that, so now I feel comfortable doing it again in the future. So the big thing is when to do it is at that moment when your conscious tells you, hey, say something, your brain's fighting it. Take your brain out of the equation, roll with your heart. That's the best way you can do it moving forwards. So those are the 4 steps to be able to get more authentic in your life, really. And like for me, I have a very personal tie to this because some of the things I do in this world, it takes a lot of gumption for me to pull out of myself and be real and honest and open and authentic with my life and the things that I experience. And I sit down all the time and I stare at walls. It sounds odd, but I stare at walls thinking, should I tell the world these things? And the reality is if I don't share it with the world, I have that guilt. And I feel like then I don't show someone else how they can come outside of their box to move forwards. And so I want you to take away from this something that we realize that you're gonna have issues and situations in your life where it's gonna be tough. But that's when it's necessary for you to actually do those movements, do those kind of uncomfortable things to grow yourself, to be able to come outside yourself. So you can honestly be like me and just realize I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna be okay if I say this one thing. And the best part about the world around you, as well as what I've experienced myself, is when you share authentically, other people open up to you. It actually widens your net of people that care about you, people that like you, because there's enough people in the world that walk up to you and say, hi sir, how are you doing today? But that's not the real them, that's not the authentic them, and I can sense it, I can feel it, and it shuts me down. So if you're able to just kind of open up to other people, they'll see it's okay, and then we can get back to a society where we say what we think, which is honestly, in my opinion, what we need as a society. So again, this is Anthony Trucks. If you get a chance, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking this button here. Also visit me at my website, anthonytrucks.com. I share a lot of different things via email, so make sure you put your name and email in. Every Friday I send out a recap, and I basically just kind of recap the week's posts and certain little messages that I share only through email. So if you're not there, you won't get them. You also get a free chapter of my book, as well as a free video series for the first steps to trust your hustle. So this is Anthony Trucks. Thank you for watching. And remember, you can trust your hustle to live an unexpected life.